Welcome back to Switched to Linux. Well, I hope everybody is having a fabulous day today. I know I might be. I don't know. I had a very fascinating call today, and if I get the chance to finalize it, I'm about, I don't know, somewhere between about a third to a half of the way through for video for tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm going to have to be off tomorrow. But, has anyone ever gotten one of these letters? From Comcast. Ooh. You know, it's really funny how they want to charge me $10 for the modem that I bought in 2005. Got a Duck 2.0 Motorola. Of course, how many stupid letters do I have to get? They really want to charge me $10 a month for a modem that I own. Are you looking at your Comcast bill? You better start. So, I got out my trusty little voice recorder today, and I called Comcast to talk about them adding $10 to my bill again. And I got the absolutely most fascinating call I've ever gotten, and it is fully legally recorded, and I'm going to turn it into a video because I learned some interesting things about how this goes about. She confirmed at least 5 times or so in my account there is a documentation that I own my own modem. But the people who add these to your account, they have nothing to do with looking at your notes. Right from the lips of a Comcast agent, I'm going to do everything I can to get that video posted tomorrow. About a 15-minute phone conversation I had with them. I think it was 18 minutes, but she took 5 minutes reading all of the backup notes. And I tell you what I think they're doing. More and more companies, including Comcast, are trying to get more and more people onto auto-pay, paperless statements. Okay, if you have paperless statements, how often do you actually look at them? Anybody? Anybody have paperless statements and you actually look at them? Or have paperless statements and you've never looked at them? Curious to know, because I think what Comcast is doing is they're getting as many people onto paperless statements because they know the majority of people will not look at them. And then they're getting as many people to save your payment method and then just sign up for autopay just to make sure, you never miss a payment. And then they just tack on your $10 a month. They've never gotten me on it. But I've had to call them back a whole lot of times. I even considered suing them for all of the time that I've had to call them back. I'm just going to make a video about it instead. Because I think if I attempt to sue them or whatever, I don't think it's going to be a fruitful thing. It'll be a long endeavor. It'll be a pain in the butt. But if I put out a video, at least 2,000 people are going to see it pretty quick. I'm just going to do that. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Grab your lighters, folks. We're going to try and go on fire. So, hello everybody. Hello Ryan, Liam. Hello Robert. Esqueleto. Greetings. Hey, Shatter. And hello Virilson. Virilson. All right. So, welcome. Glad this is your first time here. I'm glad you woke up an hour earlier. Yeah. Hey, good thing I didn't run it at 9. I was thinking about doing 9, but I think I said 11 too many places. So, greetings, everybody. Oh, Ryan, did you get your copy of your book downloaded? I have these cards saved with the people's names on them, and I plan on throwing those away as soon as I confirm you get them. So confirm you got that, and I do have one left. If anybody would like a DRM-free copy of my book, it is a Christian book, just an FYI, but I have one left. If you'd like that one left, PM me, and I'll shoot you a code for it. So, I never got that from Comcast. Yeah, okay. I never signed up for autopay. I never do either. I don't think, and I'm with you, Ryan, nobody should sign up for autopay. Okay? Like, I want them to send me the bill, and I will write them a check. But I'm going to identify some really core things that Comcast has wrong, and I'll highlight that. Hopefully I'll get that video done. I need to go take care of a friend's dog tonight after I'm done here, so we're going to go and do that, so hopefully I get the chance. But we're going to dive on in here with the news. I'm going to try and keep this right around an hour or so, just so that I can finish the video, take care of the dog, and possibly go kill some orcs again tonight. Not quite sure. So our categories, I have general business today. I have a new category called Smarten Up. A couple new securities and scams, some privacy concerns, and 2 articles on okay then. But nothing to do with cheese today. A lot of buffering. Okay. You know, I was actually watching a video here on, I was watching Big Daddy Linux, and his was buffering a lot too. I'm wondering. I always get 2 notifications for your stream. I have no idea. And also, I'm wondering if something goofy is going on YouTube, because the other thing I'm noticing is that my thumbnail would not show up. It showed up on one location, but usually when I'd go into the preview screen, it would give me the thumbnail, and here it was just giving me the gray screen. So I'm wondering if there's something goofy going on with live streaming tonight. All right. You have autoplay, you can conveniently forget. Autopay, you can conveniently forget. Yes, that is precisely why. I will never put anything on autopay, because I want, I'm a crazy budgeter guy. I have my paper budget written right in here. Nice things. All the bills that come in go right into here. They go out only when I pay them. And that's the way you should do it. You should live on a written budget. I do not agree with doing auto bill pays. It's just too easy to not know what you're doing and to not take account of what you're doing. And that's kind of the challenge. So let's go ahead and jump right on in here. I think I broke one of my cardinal rules. I actually have an article on Wall Street Journal on ad blockers, and they're not blocking the ads. I'm totally baffled. But anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at here. All right, so this is Google did confirm. You might remember I talked about this a little bit not too long ago, but Google did confirm that they are putting an ad blocker into Chrome. This is fascinating. This is like tinfoil hat topic right here, because what ends up happening over here is now Google, of course, controls the overwhelming majority of advertising on the internet, and they're going to put in an ad blocker in Chrome. Do you think it's going to block Google ads? I bet it's not. And so they did confirm, though, they are putting this in. They are giving people like I think a 6-month heads up that this is coming to prepare people. Now, in theory, what they're going to do is they're going to take advantage, look at the consortium that looked at what are the most annoying ads, what are the not most annoying ads. Curiously, Wall Street Journal is usually so annoying, I generally don't even allow them onto the computer. But this one, for some reason, didn't give me an ad block. Maybe they just took the ad blocker off because of the fun paradox that they're talking about ad blockers on Google Chrome. But the problem is, with Google Chrome being the highest used web browser, and with Google Chrome having its own integrated ad blocker, I'm wondering if they're going to make... I think my neighbors are knocking on my door. I'm going to be quiet here. With Google Chrome here being the #1 ad blocker, and let me move the mic closer. I'm going to drop my chair a little bit. I don't want to annoy my neighbors much. There we go. Hopefully we can be just as loud without screaming quite so much, but I no guarantees when I go on fire, man. We are the world. Fire? We are the world. We are the children. Okay. So, with Google Chrome being the most prevalent web browser, unfortunately, and having an ad blocker, I'm gonna bet that it's gonna be harder for Adblocker Plus to show up in their system. And so with that being said, I'm wondering if this is going to be the same type of antitrust issues that Microsoft has encountered with Internet Explorer. So that's kind of my thought on that. So I'm wondering what's going to happen. So with that being said, next we are going to jump. Actually, let's do this one next. We're going to move some articles around here. All right. YouTube actually came out. The question here is the adpocalypse over? I don't know. I've actually seen ad revenue go up a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. But what YouTube did on their creators blog is they actually released finally some clarity. Like what types of things will make content eligible or ineligible for ads. So they actually identified three things, shocking, to identify what is good content or not good content. So number one is hateful content will not be monetized. Well, this is kind of like one of those weird things. Like what define hateful content? Hateful content. I'm curious. But here they're saying content that promotes discrimination or disparages or humiliates an individual or group of people on the basis of an individual's group's race, ethnicity, ethnic origin, nationality, religion, disability, age, veteran, etc., etc., etc. So one of the things that I think we're going to see some challenges on this is, I'm willing to bet that certain religious channels will be demonetized and certain religious channels will not be demonetized. That will be curious to know. Obviously, one of the factors is that your big mainstream media seems to get a free pass. So you have that issue. They can display whatever they want and still monetize their stuff, but your lower end guys or your independents cannot display this. Like if a lower end guy took the exact same content, not plagiarized, but the exact same content, did the exact same review, the big mainstream place, whether your right wing Fox, left wing CNN, those guys would still get monetized, but your independent guys are covering the exact same story would not get monetized, and that is a huge problem. I think if anybody should be demonetized, it's the big peoples. Why not? Number two, of course, inappropriate use of family entertainment characters. I really think this was in here exclusively because of Daddy-O5. I really think it is. Inappropriate use of family or entertainment characters. Content that depicts family entertainment characters engaged in violent, sexual, vile, otherwise inappropriate behavior, even if done for comedic or satirical purposes. I really... You guys with me on that? Do you think that is because of the Daddy-O5 issue? And if you are not familiar with the Daddy-O5 issue, Philip DeFranco talked about that. And he had several videos on it, I don't know, a month or two ago. And of course, this is a guy who is, flat out abusing their kids and making tons of money online on ad revenue doing it. And it was bad. It was sickening. And, I'm kind of lucky I'm in a different state than those people. I don't know. I might gonna find them or something. I really think, though, number two is there exclusively because of Daddy-O5. Number three, incendiary or demeaning content. Content that is gratuitously incendiary, inflammatory, or demeaning. For example, video content that uses gratuitously disrespectful language that shames or insults an individual or group. So there go There go the people exposing the social justice warriors, but not necessarily the social justice warriors, despite those guys are just about as vile either way. So that's kind of one of those things that we want to keep in mind is like, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, they do have at least a little bit of clarity. Still not a lot of clarity, but a little bit of clarity. Let's see. David Pakman ran into the issue when the adpocalypse started. He makes practically no money on YouTube now, gets most of his funding from Patreon. Yeah, and that's, it's a thing. I think that wherever you can, if this is your job and this is what you'd like to do for a living, I think it's a fine living. It's just, to make a living on something like YouTube, you really have to realize that there are multiple ways to make income, and you have to take advantage of multiple of them. Because what if Patreon just totally goes down tomorrow? And some people fall out of that. That being said, you can find me on Patreon if you want. But what happens if Patreon goes down or the adpocalypse goes down? If you put all your eggs in one basket in the field, then you will run into a problem that it could cause some serious problems, especially if you live high on the hog. Now, I live very conservatively, so I don't generally run into the issue as much, but it is still a concerning thing. Like, if you're making enough money to put gas in the car for the whole month on YouTube, and all of a sudden that's gone, now I have to figure out a way to put gas in the car. And if that might mean less YouTube videos, well, that becomes a negative spiral. That's a problematic thing. And so, with that, that's kind of where it was. Broomstick person, you are annoying. Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's like regarding to the neighbor here. The reason I put all these up is try and get some sound padding. The neighbors don't even speak English, and so I can't really even have a conversation with them to find out, hey, how are the noise volumes? Is things okay? They're Russian. I'm not sure if that means like Russian mob or Russian hackers, but they're Russian, and I don't mean fast. As to be expected from YouTube, these rules are vague as possible and can be applied to pretty much anyone. Yeah, I mean, hey, you could demonetize my scammer call that I released last week, because, I was poked a little bit of fun at somebody in there. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to our main story, Skype. Oh, boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Microsoft wants to turn Skype into a social media platform. I need something hard to hit my head on. I don't think I have anything hard that's not going to make noise that bothers the neighbor. Okay. Skype, obviously, as a Microsoft product, most of my followers probably don't use Skype. Unfortunately, I have to use Skype just about every day because business stuff, and I have to use what people are using in order to do and conduct business. So I keep Skype open on my Mac. Occasionally it's open on this computer, but for the most part I keep Skype open essentially on the Mac, and I use it as just an IM throughout the day. We might pass one or two lines of code, alert me an emails coming for a project quote, 6-member groups of, people all over the world working on development of a site so we can narrow things down, and the occasional back and forth with the microphones and things like that. And so Skype itself is a business application. It's not a social protocol. It's not like to capture my whole world. But what they're doing is they're adding highlights, so now you can walk around with your phone and Skype whatever you Skype and then send it to all your friends. And the first stupid time I see Skype sitting here like, blah, 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 tell your friends, I'll be like, delete the app, because I do not need that crap, okay? And once again, there's a few things that can be said. First, Microsoft has lost their target here. They don't know what they're shooting for. Skype is not a social media platform. Skype is a communication platform. People don't use Skype to cross-communicate across all their friends. They have Facebook for that. They have Instagram for that. They have Twitter for that. And they have about 17 gajillion other services for that very simple task. Okay? Now, people in business use it so that they can do coordination between projects. They don't use it so that they can sit in there and go ahead and elaborate. Now, there is one other thing that Skype has done that is really, really stupid, okay? And that is that they are too far behind in the market. Why is it that everyone keeps on? Somebody comes up with a neat concept. Somebody else comes out and decides that that was a neat concept, and they're sorry that they were not the ones that started it. And then all of a sudden, everyone wants to duplicate it, and then we're going on fire. Because I'm telling you what, this is crazy. We do not need to turn everything into a social media platform, people. We do not need this much social media all around us. Do you realize the stupid things that have turned into social media? I have a hour logging thing that one client insists I use to track my hours, and they're turning it into a social media platform. Blah, blah, blah. 5 hours for blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It shouldn't be anybody's business. Who gives a darn tootin'? Okay? And then the second stupidest one I've seen is we had to use a company called ClearSlide. Check out ClearSlide. Yeah, it's a screen sharing application for a cross-business platform that they've turned it into a social media platform. So blah, blah, blah had a 15-minute presentation with blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. This is my job to just go ahead and do presentations. Why do we need to turn everything into a stupid social media platform? Stop it. Leave Skype alone. Skype is doing fine. Gotta put myself out. So anyway, you can come over here and watch some of these cool Skype videos where they talk about sharing the highlights of the day. The highlights of the day. Here's the Ars Technica article. Now we have highlights, we have chats, and we have captures. Ooh, this is happening. Oh, the other thing, I totally forgot to show you that. Oh man, this was recently closed. I totally forgot to show you this one. Okay. The next thing that they're doing with this thing, they are making, like, do you remember how hideously, insanely ugly iOS 7 was? It looked like something that fell down out of, like, I don't know, maybe like, sorry if it offends you, the gay pride parade, rainbows everywhere. Well, they're putting rainbows everywhere on Skype. Let me go ahead and do this and go ahead and mute this junk. Like, it looks like this rainbowy mess. Let's see if they actually show us any of the, like, I don't want, this is not a business application. Like, what's up with this gradientiness? I mean, that's insane. Let's see, where's the one that showed me what the actual app notifications look like? Oh yeah, look at this. Look at these app notifications. Like, what is up with this? This is hideous crap. This is supposed to be like, this is an application business people use for. Like, why is it that they're using these rainbowy colors? I'm going on fire again. Why? Why do we need so much rainbowiness all over the place? This is supposed to be an application that I can communicate with people on. This is crazy. What is going on? Oh, boy. Looks like a rainbowy junk. Wow, look at this. This is just so bubbly and cute. The next social media platform, just what? We already have one, Facebook. It sucks. We don't need another. Leave Skype alone. It's good for business. You know, I don't have Skype on any Windows computers. Look at this. I mean, hi, Natalie, miss you. Like, I have, okay, for this type of application, there's this little thing on phones. It's called texting. Shocking. We can text? Boom. Wow. Oh boy, let's have a look at some comments. Oh boy. Are exchange students or immigrants? I think immigrants. Actually, students are not allowed back in these complexes. Let's see. Exchange, I doubt you can use Hangouts as a replacement for Skype, nor would I want to. You and Trump have the same problems with Russians. Pounding on the door? Or is it the wall? I don't know. I've deinstalled that resource hog a long time ago. Happy I don't need it for anything. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the day when I do not need Skype for anything. There will come a day. I just don't know when it's going to be. 2 cups and a string works for me. Yeah. Delete the app. No, we don't need to track you. Yeah, and the downside is I really need to use it. Now, I've actually turned notifications off on my phone because of, thanks to that group that added me into an Indian development group over some project with 6 different people. Beep, 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 like every minute. Like, even while I was sleeping, it's like, okay, people, this is insane. Nah, I don't need some water. Got some tea, though. Don't get the neighbors pissed. Yeah, I was trying not to. Leave Skype alone. Yeah. Cardio? Yeah. This is what I do for exercise now. Skype peep. Peep equals Skype. Sharing the highlight of my day, it would probably end up being pictures of people's dinner. Is this a bad time? No, Mark, it's not a bad time. Actually, we just kind of started. We're on the feature article for now. Don't upgrade. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Actually, I finally removed Skype from my Windows computer because it was on there and then it stopped working unless you updated it. And then when you updated it, it's like, hey, great news. We're going to update itself for you every time so you don't have to mess with this anymore. I went, delete. It's on the Mac, which I don't use for anything else other than Skype and a couple random email accounts. So, gradients are important. Yes, they make me feel like I'm running iOS 7. And, iOS 7 pushed me to the Windows Phone. Windows Phone sucked. Android was just as bad. I'm like, okay, they all suck. I'm going to use 7, like iOS 7. It sucks a little less. Is it more like Instagram or WhatsApp? I think WhatsApp is what Ars Technica at least was saying. Snapchat is what they're saying. I don't use any of them. For a while, I was getting these scammer emails in my inbox, like, you have a new WhatsApp message. Like, no, I don't. Scam much? Did it freeze? I don't know. What freeze? You want to make it look cute. Isn't part of Microsoft's push to collect user data? Yeah, well, I mean, yes and no. Skype for a long time was peer-to-peer, but they moved it from server and server client. Actually, they did that like 3 months ago. So Skype used to work by doing a lot of peer-to-peer connections. So when I was running things like Wireshark to do network protocols like penetration test, or not penetration testing, but just seeing where the different computers were going when I was analyzing Windows 10, you'd frequently see Skype passing stuff back and forth between 20, 30 different servers back when it was peer-to-peer. Now, though, they link everything to your Microsoft account because we know that that's just the way better place to go. So it's kind of it. But yeah, that also, though, means that you can push. Like, the thing that subtly changed is on Skype, if you wanted to send a picture to somebody, they used to have to be there to receive it. Now it just goes into the cloud and you just grab it at your convenience. So it did make it work a little bit better, and that was one of the things that made Skype a little weird, is that it was a peer-to-peer application instead of a server-to-client application. That actually changed a long time ago. This is just them coming too late to the field. And if I didn't mention it, that's the other major problem with this, is they came late to the field. Everyone else, like, no one's going to be switching to Skype for all these social things. The people that care, they already have Facebook, they already have WhatsApp, they already have Instagram, they already have all their other social media taken in place. They're not going to switch to Skype for a social service. That's just not going to happen. I'd love to know the people at Microsoft's thought process for this decision. Looks like Skype's not looking as good as it used to. What can do to improve? Now, actually, no. I think their process is, we covet the thing that someone else did. And then, yeah, went downhill from there. We can improve the quality of our product and make it, even make people want to use it again, or we could enter an already oversaturated market and destroy another product's reputation. Brilliant. Yep, that's what they did. You can send text. Stop the presses. Yeah, I know. I can send text. And I don't even need to install some third-party app like Signal to do it, by the way. FYI. And I know. If I send a text to an Android, it's not encrypted. As much as I care about security and privacy, I really don't send anything exciting on text that would merit encryption. I mean, let me just have a quick gander at some texts. Just telling people what the fun time I had talking to a Comcast rep today. And, I passed on a very hilarious, this thing made my day. Let's see if you guys can see this. So I got this email in my inbox. I think I put this up on my Patreon account if you want to read the whole email. See if I can get this to show up in focus. Hi there, my fellow human. I am overjoyed to make your acquaintance. In that name, I would like to point you to the nice business domain I have open for all offers here. It's like a legit place to click. Blah blah is the name in question. Stay human. Vanessa. If you really hate me, just head on here and I will put myself out of my misery. I saved a copy of that spam email. That was brilliant. Wow. Cops have Stingray. Texts aren't safe either. Yep. Well, yeah. You know, if I really want to have that private conversation, I got Woods not too far away. I had a crazy experience with Skype. The phone turned on. It was video chatting with some random person. Yeah. Hooked me up in the middle of the night. That's exciting. Maybe we can try communicating using the postal service. Yep. I had a Windows phone. Threw it away a few months after buying it. Yep. Carrier pigeons are where it's at. Absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, the funny thing is in the Power Focus book I've been talking about on my outdoor philosophy. If you haven't checked out my outdoor philosophy series, it's a great series. It's the ones where I'm kind of outside talking about some businessy stuff. He's talking about the part where he's like how to ask for business and getting creative. And he tells the story about this one business person that would just throw everybody out of the office, wouldn't listen to anybody. So one person who wanted to talk to him sent him a homing pigeon with a little note around it saying, if you'd like to talk more, just throw my messenger out the window. Guy said it intrigued him so much that he actually came in and decided to have a meeting with the person. So yeah, carrier pigeons, where it's at. Windows Phone don't use it anymore. Android got to be so crappy I ditched it for a cheap track phone. Yeah, I think they're all crappy now. Link everything to your Microsoft account. Absolutely. How is my Cubes install? My Cubes install is going good. I have 2 Cubes installs, actually. I have one for my personal stuff, and I have one for a business project. And they're both doing great. I did have to fight the bootloader after an update on Cubes, but that's not as representative on Cubes. It's that the BIOS in my computer is horrible. Yeah, Jitsi is, we use that every now and again, but whatever. 0 to 60 real quick. Can't make that stuff up. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and jump back over. Let's see where are we at next. Oh yeah, we have some Smarten Up. Smarten Up, people, smarten up. All right. Under the topic of Smarten Up, refunds are now finally available for the Amazon unauthorized in-app purchases. If you remember this kind of went back first with Apple had this problem, then Amazon did about a year or 2 later, maybe 2-3 years later. Basically what happens is you have your little app and you download some cutesy game in your phone, and then you give it to your kid because you let screens babysit your child, and then your child's in here going, yeah, I want to buy all sorts of fun stuff. And before you know it, you got a $7,000 bill hooked up because, in-app purchases and stuff. Now, the problem is, Apple doesn't have that problem anymore because there is a means on the phone that is fairly easy to find to disable in-app purchases. And so that's how they can get away with it. So if somebody is foolish enough to not disable in-app purchases and then hand their phone to a child, they are still responsible for whatever the child will do. Well, Amazon's platform wasn't quite as mature, and they didn't have such features, and kids runk up thousands and thousands of dollars on the Amazon account. So Amazon did finally settle of this. $70 million in charges between November 11th and May 2016. November 2011 and May 2016 are now eligible for refunds. You have to go in to this Amazon page, and then you can probably get 5 cents on the dollar back because I doubt Amazon's going to give you everything. It's all about giving the government a little bit of a fee, Amazon making a whole lot of money, and then giving 1% of their profits back to the complaining world. So that's usually the way business runs. But why did I want to include this under a topic called Smarten Up? Okay, This thing here is capable of storing credit card data on the account so I can purchase things. Why would you, in your right mind, in this hack-centric world where phones especially don't upgrade as much as they should, why would you possibly store credit card information on these things? If you want to make a purchase on an app, go to the store, drop some cash on a gift card, and put it in the account. It really seriously limits the damage that your child can do should you accidentally forget to turn off in-app purchases when you hand it to the child. But it also prevents hackers from accessing your account, and it prevents you from accidentally spending stuff, and it prevents you from spending way too much money that you didn't even intend to. And the biggest bugger I have with this is, I want to say it's on the... Actually, I think it might be all of them. I think it's on the Android tablet. Anytime I go to install some new app, it's like, update your credit card information. No. Like, can I just perpetually skip? Because I will not put a credit card inside of Google's Play Store. No! So, smarten up, folks. Let's not, you can get around this entire in-app purchase thing by not connecting a payment method to your apps. Brilliance! Brilliance. Brilliance. We have a second one under Smarten Up. And this one intrigued me because it has nothing to do with technology. Or the only reason I really included this is I rarely ever talk about the food issues. Obviously, under the okay then with the cheese. I got a kick out of the killer cheese articles. But here is Whole Foods has the coconut mystery. So you can see these coconuts here, and you can see these coconuts here. Now these coconuts here are $3.99. These coconuts here with this little straw are $4.99. And so the question became, why is this straw worth $1? Why is this straw worth $1? So they dug into it a little bit further. Well, here's what happens. This is not just a coconut with a straw. There is a hole poked in the top of this coconut. And so the hole poked in the top of this coconut, now you can buy this coconut for an extra $1, take off the wrapper, put the straw in, and you can drink the coconut. Do you guys know how many food recalls Whole Foods has in a given year? There's at least 45 or 50 now. Here's one of the things that we know. When you start damaging the integrity of a natural food, you greatly increase the amount of potential contamination. To give you an idea, I have a PhD in integrative biological sciences, and I have never heard of listeria until everything in its related food products started getting recalled from listeria. Okay, I have the knowledge to do cloning, subcloning, bacterial cloning, cell culture, tissue culture, PCR, RT-PCR, all sorts of stuff. Oh, protein gels. I used to make our acrylamide. That was a little nerve-wracking at times. From powder to acrylamide. Very deadly stuff. All of this stuff. I have never heard of listeria. We probably talked about it in a couple of classes, but it was never like, listeria, whatever. Now it's like everywhere. This is why some employee, and do you think that the minimum wage employee at Whole Foods really cares about safety protocols? You're like, click, 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 click. Click, and then watch. These things are going to be recalled. Because when you take a coconut and you poke a hole in the top, and then you reseal it up with plastic and attach a straw to it, and it sits there on the shelf for a few days, that thing's going to be bacterially infested very, very quick. In fact, in that type of display, just from what I can see from the picture, if these were cut open at 8 in the morning, by 3 p.m., any dangerous bacteria that could potentially have come in contact with these has had, I want to say, somewhere to the effect of 35 to 50 doubling cycles. This is deadly. Do not buy foods that are pre-cut like this. Like if you go to the store to get lettuce, do not buy pre-bagged salad lettuce. When you take the lettuce and you cut it like that to pre-bag it and pre-package it, you are breaking down the lettuce's natural ability to fight bacteria. And that's what seems to be causing a lot of these bacterial contaminations. So, that was fun. Don't eat things like that. Okay. Only reason I enjoyed Android is the customization, rooting, custom ROMs, custom recoveries. Yeah, that's good. Ovu, yeah, I've used Ovu a few times. No Linux version, bummer. Hopefully that changes. That's the thing I might look at next. Skype has sucked for years. Yeah, it's been going downhill too. What's up, Philly in the house? What's up, Philly? Credit cards and smartphones is very, very bad news. Yeah, the name cracks me up. Which name? The mystery coconut? Coconut mystery? Are you hanging? You're back. Yeah, I think there seems to be a problem with YouTube streaming tonight. I was watching a few live streams today that, like, every one I was watching was buffering a little bit. So it seems to be something goofy with YouTube. I know I'm recording the same exact good output as usual. I just think there's something going on with YouTube tonight for whatever reason. I have no idea. MRSA everywhere in the hospital. Yeah, pretty much. Oh boy, what's our next topic? Our next topic is security scams. Let's see if I have a scammer window. I do have a scammer window. This is yet another application. Remember this one? Let me know on this background too if it stutters the audio, because I have not tested this background. I think I've tested it once. So this one here, if you recall, I talked about this one the first time, I don't know, about a month or so ago with a Burger King restaurant. So it's another take on this one. You know, some scammer calls some Subway restaurant employee, "Oh, your manager's in jail. He needs a bailout money." And so, you know, so the scammers scammed the cashier at a burger, or what is this? Which one was this one? Oh, a Subway. It's a Subway this time. I've seen a Taco Bell one. I've seen a Burger King one. Now we got a Subway one. All we need now is a McDonald's one, you know? Or either that or we need a psychopathic clown running around killing people. I don't know. Something. Something for McDonald's other than that scary app. Although that app they were doing was pretty scary. So a few months later, a male entered the restaurant claiming the manager's brother-in-law told the employee he needed money for the bail. The employee opened the cash register and gave the contents to the individual, who then left. The employee later called the manager's cell phone and discovered that they had not been arrested. Okay. Just in the event that you happen to be a young person working at a fast food restaurant, okay, if your manager gets arrested, trust me, the restaurant is not interested in bailing him out. They will take the next guy in line, throw him up to the manager, leave the guy in jail to figure out his own life problems. Okay? The store's not going to bail your manager out. Just an FYI. Just an FYI. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's see. Of course, we have Chipotle. Like, at what point in time is Chipotle just going to die? Please just kill Chipotle. Can it just die? I mean, we've had the illegal wage practices. We've had the managers forcing people to work with serious illnesses. This spread serious illnesses to several customers. All sorts of issues. We actually had a strike walkout riot at our local Chipotle. So I'm not even sure it's still there anymore. I have no idea. If I want this type of food, I actually go to, let's see, there's like 4 or 5 that I know of. Moe's, Qdoba, Chipotle, and Cafe Rio. I think Cafe Rio is a very good tasting one. I usually go to Moe's simply because their chips are free and I like the chips. But I don't really do that much either because I'm just not a big fan of eating out. And I can make a better burrito at home, actually. But yeah, Chipotle Mexican Grill reports findings from investigation of a payment card security. So if you happen to use your credit card at a Chipotle in the last between March and April of this year. Double check your credit card statements. They said almost all stores were affected, although there is basically specific times and locations over here, so you can find this from Chipotle's blog there. But be careful, and this is another one, be careful using your credit cards and debit cards at restaurants. Like, if you have a credit card or a debit card, it really should be for emergency purchases, not for, casually casting your plastic upon the town and paying off the bill, whatever it happens to be at the end. Because what ends up happening is you lose track, you're not keeping good accounting of your funds, and then what ends up happening there is you look at that and you go, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't really matter, and then it comes back in, and you kind of lose sight of things. So gotta watch out for that one. Of course, we always are talking about subscription services. Well, here's a new subscription service for you: the Shadow Broker's monthly dump service. Huh? Yeah, the shadow brokers that kind of stole the NSA's stuff, and the shadow brokers releasing the malware is kind of what was responsible for the WCry outbreak earlier this month. Yeah, if you send 100 Zcash to this address and include a delivery email address and then, some encryption memo in the file, you can sign up for your shadow broker's brand new security hack subscription service. Yeah, this is crazy. So now this has risen some interesting ethical questions, like should white hat hackers come in? I think I'll tell you, if I were involved in a white hat hacker group, I'd get like the top 10 of them together. I'd share the fee. I'd put it in there, and then I'd spread it to every white hat hacker in the world, and then, take care of that problem. But, give these guys a little bit, but, oh well. But anyway, this is subscription services going on. See, this is what happens when you invent something stupid like a subscription service model. Like, it started with razor blades on subscription, now it comes with NSA's malware. Whatever. So make sure that you keep your passwords nice and safe with online password managers. Wait, what? Yeah, so one login suffers a breach. They estimate that all of the U.S. customer data was compromised, including entire database tables, which included usernames, applications, and hashed passwords. So this is for the people that were utilizing one login as one application to manage your logins into everything. This is the stupidest idea in the history of the universe, because what ends up happening is you get a gigantic bullseye on this service. So somebody got in there, tinker around with a database. It took them about, if I remember correctly, 12 hours to realize somebody's in there. The one that got me is, what happened is that the threat actor had obtained a set of AWS keys. You know what this is called? That is called very poor security. Because if you're not familiar with how AWS works, AWS, to log into an account, so I manage several AWS accounts, and to log into an account, I have to have access to the key files. So what do? Well, I keep those key files in two places. One, a completely offline database, and number two, a computer that is rarely ever on that I only use to access. And that's why if you've heard me say, hey, I use Ubuntu for accessing AWS servers, the reason I do that is because I do not want that computer to do anything else. Because if those key files get compromised, that gives the person access to everything in the Amazon account. So what this is somebody probably just had the key files just hanging out over there, and once somebody accesses the key file, you can use that to break into the server. Because the usernames and the server, like the servers are easy to identify. You just grab the IP address. And then if, depending on what they're using, if you're using a basic Ubuntu server, you do Ubuntu at, and then use the script code, put in the key in there. As long as you have the key file, that's all you need. So this is a weak link in your security. Somebody somehow exposed the keys, the access keys, and this is a big problem with putting everything on your AWS clouds, is that if those keys get compromised, your entire project is compromised. Now, I actually had a case earlier this month where keys got corrupted, and I'm not sure if it was the login system at AWS that got encrypted or that got corrupted, or if it was my actual key files that got corrupted. One of those two got corrupted. And what I was able to do, and the good thing about this is that this is easy to fix because you just spin down this instance and respin it up with a different set of key pairs. But what they really need to do is figure out who all had access to these key pairs and examine where this came from. But what ended up happening, the ultimate take-home message I have here is never use an online password manager. I mean, use a password manager for fine, but don't use an online one. Like, I'm on Linux Mint Cinnamon here, and built in to this is, I think this has passwords and keys. I thought it had KeyPass. I use KeyPass on my cubes install. I'm not sure if the passwords and keys is the same as KeyPass or not, but I use KeyPass on that, and so that's kind of the thing that I want to talk about there. And here's a little bit more information about their security incident updated. Looks like yesterday. Method of attack: they obtained an access of AWS keys because we had an employee that was being stupid. They used them to access the AWS API from an intermediate host, which is actually not that hard. This also tells me that the company itself, this is scary. The company itself didn't have good security protocols. What you have to do is keep your SSH server perpetually locked out of 0. I bet what they did, if I were to look at their AWS install, I bet that their server had port 22 wide open. That was dumb. This would not have been possible if port 22 was not wide open. Just manage it properly in the security group. So what I do is I have my IP address is the only IP address that can access any of my port 22s. This will prevent the keys from being utilized to access it, because all you basically need to do is just use a terminal, SSH right on in, and you can tinker around all you want, including grabbing copies of the database. Or deploy some code on there that takes a copy of your database and sends it remotely somewhere else quietly. You could do that, but they did two things. The first is they did not have proper key management, and the second is they did not have a properly configured security group that blocked port 22 from any outside people. Oh boy. So there's a little more about it. So if you happen to use one login, they give you all the things to do, which is like a day and a half's worth of work, which is kind of scary. Let's go ahead and have a quick look at comments again. Wow. Let's see. Doesn't Brian Lunduke use Jitsi? He complains about it about every time he uses it, but yes, he does use it. But news about projects trying to continue convergence. I've not seen any convergence products news lately. Was there an E. coli outbreak at Chipotle? I thought it was something worse than E. coli, but yeah. Jersey Mike's. Yeah, Jersey Mike's is good subs. You've got a Jersey Mike and you have a few bucks to spare, Jersey Mike subs are pretty good. I like their classic Italian. Very good. Greetings to us today. I saw you come in earlier and I never said hello. The det rectangle is great for waving through a card swiper. It's great for safety, not the det rectangle. Yeah. Onward password. Yes, there are several online password managers. One login is not the only one. There are a few out there. And I've grown to like KeyPass. I'll be honest, I still use an Excel sheet on an encrypted hard drive on it's keeping a paper copy handy, memorizing the passwords you use the most, and then have an encrypted USB drive with a copy of your passwords in an Excel file. I say Excel. I started it on Excel a long time ago. Now it's in, Libre spreadsheets. So there's that. ubports.com got a new major partner donation from privateinternetaccess.org. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at privacy. All right. Interesting, like some scary stuff going on here. Actually, let's yeah, there's a few different things up here. So JetBlue is now using facial recognition. Of course, they started using, I think it was Delta started using facial recognition for checking in baggage. It is scaring me how much biometric data airports are using, because if it's not these guys using facial recognition, it's Delta using fingerprints. Yay! I just really want to give like I think outside of ISPs, I don't know, who is more incompetent, airlines or ISPs? This is a hard debate. I mean, if you caught the early part of my video, you know how incompetent ISPs are. But airlines, I don't know. It's a hard bet. It's a really hard bet. I think that there might, I don't know. It's a hard one. But do we really need all these airlines having access to all this biometric data? I mean, we got fingerprints for lounge access. Yes, I will scan my fingerprint with Delta. Hey, Delta, here's my fingerprint attached with my ID. Yeah. Sounds like a wise idea. And then, of course, here is JetBlue. They're, you know, and I don't know how this helps with security, really. I mean, we know who people are a little bit better. Well, I guess if you blow up the plane, you know who did it. I mean, or at least you have it narrowed down to the 250 people you've identified by facial recognition. I don't know, please. But this is scaring me a little bit. There's a whole lot of these, and I'm gonna just go ahead and bump this article up because Uncle Sam, our government is pushing out a project. They really are pushing out a project to evaluate the most accurate AI-based facial recognition. Is this not the scariest thing? Like, where's my copy of 1984, really? Yeah, I really need my copy of 1984. This is scary. The Director of National Intelligence wants to find the most accurate, unconstrained facial recognition algorithm. It is about time for me to go and live in the woods with Bigfoot. Really. I mean, that's freaky. That's freaky, man. Government's scaring me. Yeah, digital implants, yeah. So, have you developed software to identify faces in general web photographs? Can your software verify that a face in one photograph is the same as a face in another? Ask the postings on challenge.gov about Face Recognition Prize. The goal of Face Recognition Prize Challenge is to improve core face recognition accuracy and expand the breadth of capture conditions and environments suitable for successful face recognition. The challenge comes in two parts. First, face recognition involves executing one-to-many search to return the correct entry from a gallery, and if any, and two, face verification requires the algorithm to match two faces of the same person while correctly rejecting faces of different persons. Both tasks involve non-cooperative images where subjects were unaware of the camera, or at least did not engage with it or pose for the camera. My government's starting to scare me. See that in San Diego now, they have audio and video surveillance on almost every light post. They know exactly who is where at all times walking down the street. I'm scared. This is freaky. Oh boy. Sorry for all the freezes, folks. I think YouTube is having an issue. I know I'm not today. Wow. Scary. Talking about being late to the party, but dealing with privacy news instead of, Skypey type stuff. Yeah. Do we need more of these stupid things? Really? Like, you know what? Who wants to go into business with me? We're just going to go ahead. We're going to stop beating around the bush. We're going to integrate all three of them so that it can integrate with the Siri library, actually all four of them, the Siri library, the Amazon, the Alexa library, the OK Google library, and the Cortana library. We're going to put it all together, audio screen, video screen, fully integrated, and we are simply going to call it a telescreen. Anybody in? I'm just going to create it. It's the telescreen. We're going to have extremely fine print that you can't even read, but nobody will try and read it anyway. And, So, but unlike Microsoft trying to turn Skype into the next social media platform, unlike that, at least Apple fairly has some insanely Kool-Aid induced based fan base that'll be like, oh, you want me to just fork out $700 bajillion for 15 other things? Okay. And they'll do it. Yeesh. Huh. Still frozen, huh? Wow. I'm gonna check my preview screens over here too. Yeah, my preview screen's not frozen. That's kind of weird. I don't know. Scary. Yeah, I don't know what's up with YouTube tonight. It's being freaky on the freezies. This is an interesting one. A German court rejects a parent's access to a dead teenager's Facebook account. Now, Facebook's logic down here. Let me see if I can find it again. They said that let's see, the content of the they said that the content of the contacts should not be inherited. Now, the issue is that the parents wanted to review all the messages and all of the content in the account because they had concerns that their daughter, who was 15 at the time she died by being hit by a train, was being cyberbullied. And so the parents wanted to look at the Facebook account to determine that for themselves, to lay that idea to rest in their own mind. And the courts came back and Facebook came back and said, no, you cannot. And I think that this is a problem. Now, is anybody familiar with the law in Germany? The only instance I would see this as, I would agree with this, is if a 15-year-old is not considered not a minor. Like here in the States, a 15-year-old is a minor. And if the 15-year-old dies, I think the parents not only should gain access to, but have the Facebook should approach them and say, these are the login credentials, or this is how we can unlock the account for you, because this person is a minor. And in this type of situation, I think that if you are a minor, your parents need to know your YouTube account logins, your Facebook account logins, your Microsoft account logins, your school logins, your computer logins. They need to know all this stuff. It's important. Okay? So if a 15-year-old is not a minor in Germany, then I can see this. But, because there are crazy parents out there, and unfortunately my mother might be one of them, that's like, oh, I want access to his Facebook account. No, I'm pushing 40s here, so no, you cannot have access to my Facebook account because I'm an adult. But this is not an adult. This is a kid. And I think in this case with a kid in a questionable death, I think that it's absolutely imperative that they get a chance to see the Facebook account. Really. So that was interesting. And let's see. We got is I forget a valid defense when court orders you demand for a smartphone password. So this is a follow-up on the Queen of Snapchat sex tape scandal. Number one, keep your sex tapes off your phone. I mean, really? But basically, two suspects are accused of extorting this person. They were caught in the act of texting by the police. They had 4 different cell phones, and they claimed to have forgotten the password to one, and they were ordered to be imprisoned until such time that they can. Well, what ends up happening here is that in at least in this case, this person says that they swear under oath that they have given the correct password, but it didn't work, basically saying, I forgot the password. And is it something? I think that it is. I mean, especially if every online service wants to use their own password and have it identified, unique, and have it something that, like, something with multiple characters, multiple letters, multiple numbers, multiple everything else, but everything in its brother wants you to have it your own password and your own stupid logins. It is, like, I mean, the human dictionary, the walking human dictionaries couldn't keep track of all the passwords we have. We need to do some type of management. And, if you had a password and you didn't write it down, it's feasible to forget. So that's an interesting thing. So that's kind of that. Let's go ahead and have a look at our comments again before we get into our last couple of articles here, because there's some winners up here. Oh boy. More buffering. Bummer. Don't understand why everyone wants convergence. It's a cool idea, but it just doesn't work. We need separate interfaces. Yes, convergence is a stupid idea. Gee, that's what we think. But once we get it, we relearn this universal principle is computing our interface and our devices in UI UX manners. Well, the thing is that the problem with convergence is that different devices do different things. Like right now, I'm on a full desktop computer. I have 2 different screens running, so I can run 2 different HD cameras, microphone, I got speakers, internet, we're streaming. We got a lot of stuff going on in this office right now, okay? I mean, there's tons going on right here. This is a setup for this type of thing. And I'll also be doing some video editing on here, etc., etc. But, like, a phone, I'm not going to edit video on a phone. We do not need one interface that works perfectly on this and on a 2-monitor HD setup. It's stupid. We just don't need that. And it's never going to get to that point because the desktop computers are getting better at the same rate that the phones are getting better. It will never get to the point where the desktop computer stops getting better and the phone catches up. It just isn't an issue. Might as well have digital implants. Yes. Not just the technical back end, the hints all around us. Frozen in. Bummer. Okay. How many home speakers that are going to be modeled up in a P... I really think that we need to get the 4-way war going, right? I mean, if you've seen the 2 Google speakers talking to each other, somebody live streamed that for a good few days once. That was kind of fun. But I think we just need all 4 of them in a room, and let's see if the 4 speakers in a room together can solve the world's problems. I mean, come on. Why don't we just elect out as next president, a 4-headed monster that consisting of each of the 4 major speakers? All right. Are we ready for our okay then articles? These are our final articles of the day. Okay then. A former franchisor of 7-Eleven starts up a store called 612. I love it. 612. So there you go. 1946 convenience store chain in Texas decided to change its name to reflect the new extended hours from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Stores are a 7-Eleven. I remember. I have fond memories of 7-Eleven. There was one right around the place where I used to live as a child, and then I moved out to the East Coast, and 7-Elevens don't exist. All right. 7 decades later in South Boston, a man named Abu Moussa. Hello, this is your book. How can I help you? Opens a convenience store on East Broadway. His store name, 612. If he did a Dunkin' Donuts, he'd probably be sued, but... yes, those are the store hours, but that's not the only reason he named it 612. Mostly Musa did it because he hates 7-Eleven. All right. In particular, he's at war with the 7-Eleven franchise on the other side of the street. The story knows well. He used to own it. Now he wants to destroy it. My goal is to get them to close. My goal is to get them to close, said Musa. It's a twisted saga that involves personality clashes, corporate oversight, and expensive legal proceedings. And it first got nasty when Musa took a very particular opinion on a 7-Eleven product line. He thinks 7-Eleven's hot dogs are kind of gross. Did he have an app? Was it really a hot dog? I mean, inquiring minds want to know. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hot dogs and taquitos were bad enough. He said they'd sit there on the rollers and no one would buy them, and every day I'd throw out $200, $300 worth of food I had to pay for. Says he felt that the field consultant for the region forced him to become the first store in the area to start offering pizza and chicken wings. Not only that, Musa said, he was told he'd have to pay for an employee to work on the hot food counters at all times. He resisted. He clashed with the field consultant, intensified. Musa says he was told he had no choice and had to take the pizza and chicken wings. The declined relationship with 7-Eleven was devastating. He is a native of Bangladesh and it has been his dream to own his own business. He opened the 7-Eleven franchise on the corner of K Street in 2005 in a building he shared with Jones Department Store, a South Boston icon that was known as the Jonesies. Like, competing with the Jonesies? I said everything went incredibly well, but after about 6 years, a field consultant came in, he said, and everything disintegrated. 7-Eleven didn't treat me as a partner anymore. They treated me as a slave. Yeah. Intriguing. Wow. I gotta say, I have a friend over in Boston. I'm gonna tell him he's got to go to 612 just to buy a hot dog or wings or whatever he does. I guess a banana. I mean, I can see a banana here. Good thing he's not in Seattle, man. He'd not be selling bananas. Amazon's giving them away. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but Amazon giving away bananas up there in, is it Seattle they're in? Wherever they're at, I forget. Wherever Amazon is, they're giving away bananas, and it's hurting the local fruit market. Believe it or not, crazy news. In totally scary news, serving customers in new ways. Walmart begins testing associate delivery. Okay, do you want the Walmart employees knowing where you live? I swear to you, I think the Quasimodo works in Walmarts. After it gets dark, the freaks start coming out. I mean, I literally, and I'm in a place, like, I have determined as I'm traveling around the country, you can tell the quality of the town by just walking through the Walmart. Like, in my town, we're a little bit more affluent. The Walmarts are a little bit better until it gets dark. And then it gets dark, and, like, I swear, we had this one stalker at the local Walmart that I think he had, like, one leg and one arm, and I think a hunch on his back. And he might have even had one eye, like, drooling down the shelf, stalking the shelf. It was like Quasimodo. It was weird. I mean, it was crazy. But, you know, they're not the greatest employees they have over there. Like, would you want a Walmart associate to know where you live to be delivering your stuff? This scares me. The only thing I thought of when I saw this article about Walmart associates testing associate delivery is the people of Walmart. If you've never seen the people of Walmart, it is a huge ad-centric place, so make sure you go there with an ad blocker. Yeah. People of Walmart, look at that. Chilling. Of course, pick your plaid. Oh yeah. I'm not sure what the racist rant's all about. I did not want to see that. And then people of Walmart, all right. Woo! Wowzers. I had to go 4 pages in to find 4 pictures that were appropriate, by the way. This is not a sight for the faint of heart. Oh, boy. Wowzers. I'm just going to see what the next page loads up. I don't want to load it up without seeing it, previewing it first. So I got to figure this out. But would you guys want the Walmart? Would you guys sign up to have the Walmart associates delivering to you? I'm curious. I'm wanting to know. Bad enough when they ask your postal code. Now they want to know your house number. Yeah. What's your house number? We're gonna send Michael, the guy that we hired out of jail, who just out on parole for rape. He's gonna come over and deliver groceries. I mean, just think about that, because, like, I mean, I used to live in a town where I think like 4 or 5. It was an oil field town, like 4 or 5 times a year, I'd get the required printouts. Oh, a new sex offender has moved into your neighborhood. Well, thanks for letting me know. It's like you'd literally walk through the town and you'd see attached. You could tell if people had kids living in the house because they had all these notices of the latest sex offenders hanging up on their refrigerator because it was required. You're moving into town, and everybody within, I think, like 2 or 3 blocks, you had to, the police had to send the updated thing. Like, they had a whole business in that. And then I found out that my pastor was on the list. Oh, my Lord. So I quit that church real fast. Whoa. I don't think I can show that picture. The rest of them aren't too bad. I always give them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went down to an Ollie's to check prices on some things, and they're like, "What's your postal code?" I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, he's like, "Can I have your postal code?" Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer is no. You may not have my postal code. I don't want to give you my postal code. This site used to actually be very fast to load. I think it's becoming like a big place to go. So they've downloaded it with hundreds and hundreds of ads. Which, even though I'm running an ad blocker, exactly does the overlap between people go to where Walmart and people who frequently get stuff delivered to their house? What exactly is the overlap? I don't know. It's not exactly. It can be a fairly lazy crowd that goes to Walmart, but the problem is you get the extra surcharge. I don't. But at the same time, it's like an extra surcharge. People don't even know they're paying because it's like, throw it on the credit card. Credit card's got some balance, and before you know it, you're in destitutional serfdom to your credit card company, and it's exciting. Yeah. Like, literally, I clicked the page over, and it's still trying to, I think it's trying to load 150 ads before it actually loads the images. This thing's, horrible anymore. I just want to see if I can find one more page. That's frightening. Okay. Whoa! Yep. Okay, we're done with people on Walmart.com. Woo! Wow, I'm glad that I didn't have the website up to look at that. That was kind of scary. All right, folks, it is 12:15. I think I'm going to head on down the street, take care of a dog, and then come on back and hopefully get a video finally edited so we can get that out. So check the channel tomorrow. I am busy all day tomorrow, but if I do wrap up that video tonight, I will post it up late tonight and it'll be live tomorrow, hopefully. So with that being said, I think we are going to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. So thanks for watching. Like I said, tomorrow I will probably not be here. I'm going to push out one video if I can. And Sunday we should be back for tinfoil hat time. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be talking about yet. Maybe I'll talk more about this. What I really think's going on with a tinfoil hat. Walmart prices are not special if you compare with other retail stores. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, long time ago when I was a grad student and trying to save every penny, I drove all around town, checked the price everywhere to find that Walmart was 3 cents cheaper than any other store in town. All the other stores had the same price except Walmart was 3 cents cheaper, and I spent $3 in gas doing it. Yeah, not worth it. I try not to go to Walmart unless I have to. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Have a good night, y'all, and we will see you later.